RB
This
Leipzig.
is fun.
Yeah, this is fun. And it got to be more fun after what happened this weekend.
Yep.
Uh, Leipzig's plus 350 hosting Man City minus 134. The draw is plus 290 to advance. City minus 550. Leipzig, they are plus 350. So you guys or I told you that Steve Cooper was just a genius, and we saw another Cooper master classes this weekend, seeing City draw 1-1 against Forest. Uh, but this is kind of why I like the Leipzig future. In all likelihood, they lose this tie. They get trounced by City over two legs, and that's it. Your 100-1 ticket gets set on fire by what 6 p.m. Eastern time on or 5 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. But we've just seen City. They've just been so wonky this year. They've just had these moments of just pure freakishness. Um, and against a good team, the odds of that happening are much greater than they would be against Nottingham Forest or Everton at home. This Leipzig team is really good. I think I think that I'd rather bet them long term than just to back them here on the money line. So I'm betting them to win the tournament. That's kind of going to stand as my money line bet for this game. But I know you two are both on this train with me, BJ.
Yep.
What are your thoughts here?
So, yes, I love a Leipzig plus a half. I've played them to advance at plus 440. So these two obviously met in the Champions League last season. Only one of the matches actually mattered. The final match that was at Leipzig, City had already sealed up the group, and they played a bunch of reserve guys, so it didn't really matter. But the first one was a chaotic 6-3 win for City. Expected goals is only 2.3 to 1.3. And I went back and I watched the highlights because I was like, okay, it's been a long time. I hadn't really seen what happened in this one. First off, you have to remember who was managing RB Leipzig at that point? It was Jesse Marsch.
No comment.
One of the worst defensive managers we've ever seen grace the Bundesliga and the Premier League. Also, I went back and looked how City scored all their goals in that match. It was off a corner, an own goal, a penalty, a Grealish low-quality shot, a Cancelo streamer from 27 yards, and a Gabriel Jesus deflection goal. It was a lot of flukiness from City to get the ball in the back of the net. This is going to be a much, much different, much better RB Leipzig defense that is only allowing one expected goal per 90 minutes under Marco Rosa, which I think we got to give Anthony credit because I think Marco Rosa might be the best manager in the world. I went and looked since September. Here, let me get to my point here, Anthony. Since September 8th, when he was hired at RB Leipzig, they have a plus 1.23 non-penalty expected goal differential per 90 minutes in the Bundesliga. Only Barcelona has a better mark over that time span than RB Leipzig. And they have a style of play that can give City so many problems. I mean, you saw it out of the World Cup break when they played Bayern Munich. It was a perfect example. Bayern controlled 58% possession, but Leipzig held them to 7 shots. And other than the goal that went in from Choupo-Moting inside the 6-yard box, every other shot that Bayern Munich had an XG rating under 0.1. So we have an RB Leipzig offense that is under Rosa has created 38.6 expected goals in his 21 matches in charge. And they've been without Christopher Nkunku since before the World Cup break. He came back from injury against Wolfsburg this past weekend. So their offense is only going to get better. And can we talk about the fixture pileup for City right now? Because this is going to be their 4th match in 10 days and their 3rd straight match on the road in less than a week. That's a lot of travel. And Pep has not rotated at all. Maybe 1 or 2 throughout those matches, but it's going to be the same starting 11 pretty much. So the legs have to be tired for City at this point. So this is a wonderful spot for Leipzig, who obviously had a great showing against Wolfsburg this past weekend. So I love them plus a half, plus 105 to advance at plus 440. I think that number is wonderful because if you love Leipzig in this first leg, you can play back on City and have a nice hedge opportunity in the second leg as well to advance. So, and obviously we've already bet them, at 100 to 1 to win the Champions League. So yes, tremendous spot here for Leipzig, who can give City all sorts of problems.
Yeah, look, I've been saying this about Rosa for
I have to
four
give you credit.
years, 3 years, and it wasn't a great fit at Dortmund, but it's clearly working here at Leipzig. They're the best defense in the Bundesliga for me, and they allow the fewest shots per 90. They allow the fewest shots on target per 90. They allow the average longest shot distance, which is something you talked about. And if we talked about City this year, like their average shot distance is further from the goal than it was last season. They're getting fewer shots. It all has the recipe for an overinflated City on the road in the first leg in a matchup they don't necessarily need to win. I still think that matters. If it's the 85th minute, you're not going to see City throwing numbers forward. When a draw is a fine result for them. I think that does matter because so many times in like a league match, you'll see a favorite, risk to try to get the 3 points instead of, at the risk of losing one. In this case with Pep, we've seen it time and time and time again. Pep, when in doubt in these Champions League ties, goes too conservative, not too aggressive. And it hurts them. It costs them, because they're the better team and they're lowering the variance. So I think the matchup is fine for Leipzig. They're comfortable out of possession. They're good defending out of possession. They have really good individual defenders. I think, one of the main reasons that Leipzig has been, as good as they've been defensively this year is that the personnel is just better than it was last year too, with their defense taking steps forward. Orban is good. Like Guardiola has been like a breakout star at center back. So they have the pieces. And then Nkunku and Werner are like superstars in transition with Werner's pace and his passing, underrated passing range, and Nkunku's dribbling. I mean, that's just like a really capable counterattack. What we've seen is you're going to hit City up the wings with pace, and Werner loves making that run into that channel. And Nkunku, with his ability to dribble through anybody, it's going to be dangerous. So I like Leipzig at home, first leg plus a half. Love it. My favorite bet for the Champions League group stage, probably of all of the bets, to be honest.